here we go. See, the media has undoubtedly given itself a bad rap. And honestly, I see no reason to defend it. We all know how annoying it is. You see the media take a story that they can get their hands on and drag it out and blow it up and kick it like it's some dead horse. Or I think that's a saying. But sometimes, and I mean honestly, rarely, honest to God, sometimes, the media can actually do this and it benefit the story. Sometimes the media gets their hands on a story and blows it up, and by doing that, they're not killing it or making it crazy, they're actually keeping it alive. And that's kind of what happened to this case that I'm about to talk about. It's been going on for 35 years, and there's still people talking about it. And that case is the boys on the tracks. Awesome. I'm going to talk about it right now. The boys on the tracks follows the story, a tragic one at that, of two young men, Don Henry and Kevin Ives, who on the night of August 23rd, 1987, were known to have been out spotlighting, and basically that is just when two people go hunting at night, one with a flashlight and one with, like a rifle or something to hunt with. In their hometown of hometown of Alexander, Arkansas, and sometime earlier that morning, they had gone out near Crooked Creek Trestle, which is basically a section of railroad, and that would have been the entire story of the night and completely believable if it wasn't for the fact that the two boys, around 4 a.m. in the morning, were run over by a train. Not an average night. So, what happened after they were run over by the train? Well, basically the two boys were ran over by a mile-long Union Pacific locomotive going 50 miles per hour, and the crew members all swear that neither of the boys, moved the entirety of the time that the train was coming over. With all the screeching and the honking and nightmarish sounds that a train makes, I don't really know. The point is, they didn't move. So when the police officers and the medical emergency medical people got there, they just immediately diagnosed it as suicide. It wasn't entirely uncommon in this area to see people just, disappear, but it was definitely really unique, and it wasn't something that really happened very often, so they didn't just immediately cough it up to suicide, and instead took it to a medical examiner, one by the name of Dr. Malik. Now, Dr. Malik was kind of a veteran, and he was hired by the government quite a lot in this area to do medical examines. Examines on, corpses and stuff. So, when he examined the two boys, he found the equivalent of 20 marijuana joints in both of their systems, and he said that the boys smoked so much marijuana and had so much THC in their system that they passed out and didn't hear the oncoming train. Now, immediately, I haven't, but anyone who smoked pot would know that doesn't make much sense, and neither did the parents think that it made any sense. So about a year later, after bickering back and forth, trying to find somebody to help them, they were able to hire two more private investigators, private medical examiners, to re-examine their bodies. And what they found, I'll just tell you. So they examined the two boys and found not only did they only have about one marijuana cigarette worth of THC in both of their systems, even after the wouldn't have really disappeared necessarily, so it definitely wasn't 20 marijuana cigarettes worth. But more importantly, Dr. Malik must have completely glimpsed over the fact that Don Henry had multiple stab wounds in his back, and Kevin Ives had his head, or more importantly, skull crushed in. Okay, so this part of the video, I recorded it once and it took 5 minutes. The story is really long, there's no way I could possibly get it down in 6 minutes, so I'm very quickly going to go over the 6 witnesses that came with this crime, and only that, because we don't have time for anything else. So, the first witness, his name was Keith Coney. He was there the night that the boys went missing. He basically said he was smoking with them, but smoking marijuana, that they ran down the hill to go hunt near the train tracks, and that a couple hours later, he saw the two boys running back up the hill frantically, waiting there. He didn't engage with them. Two police officers came to the gas station, got out of their cars, beat both of the boys, dragged them both into the cars, and ran off. Keith Coney was found 3 days later after giving his testimony to the police in a motorcycle accident, and allegedly he was run off the road and had his throat slashed. Second witness was a man by the name of Keith McCassell. He basically testified and then immediately thought, well, crap, I'm gonna die. So he said, okay, I'm going to plan my funeral, I'm going to say my goodbyes, and I'm going to write my will. And he did all of those things, and then guess what? He was right. About, I don't know, like a couple days later, he was found with 113 stab wounds. 113 stab wounds. His neighbor, Keith McCassell's neighbor, said that he saw him getting stabbed by 5 men. 5 men in black suits. That same neighbor was charged for the crime. Third witness, I don't really know his name. Oh, it was Greg Collins. Yeah, so basically, he confessed, tried to run away because he thought he was going to die. His motorcycle was found on a state highway somewhere in rural Arkansas, and his body was also found with 3 shotgun blasts to the head. Fourth witness. Okay, here we go. Fourth witness was, Daniel Borden. He confessed, like the other 3, and he is gone. Like, literally, he's just gone. I don't know where he went. No one knows where he went. His body is missing. It's never been found. Fourth witness, Jeff Edwards. Man confessed to the police that he saw the 2 beating and also saw the 2 take the 2 boys once the officers threw them into the car and drive them off. He followed the officers and saw them go off onto a dead-end road, one that he knew was a dead-end road, disappear for 15 minutes before coming back. Yeah, he was found in a landfill with all of his limbs cut off. Yeah. Anyway, final witness, because I gotta go through this quick. Final witness, what was his name? I think it was James Millen. James Millen. This man confessed like the rest of them, and just like the rest of them, he was found dead. Now, you know how he was found dead? I'll tell you how he was found dead. He was found with his head decapitated in his living room. His corpse was found in the living room, decapitated, head missing. Dr. Malik, same man that basically examined most of the other bodies, including the 2 boys on the tracks, said that he died of a stomach ulcer and that his dog ate his head. Well, his head was found a week later, and you know what Dr. Malik said? He said that his dog simply threw up the head. There you go. How do you feel about that? They just threw up the head. Yeah, okay. I can't talk about this anymore. I have to get going. But yeah, you start to see the trend here. It's kind of insane. Okay, so you're probably thinking, wow, this is a pretty crazy story. You know, you've got 2 boys who got ran over by a train, 6 dead witnesses at least. Surely it got national coverage. And yeah, well, you're kind of right. See, it got a couple of weeks of national coverage, but then it went basically silent. And of course, with a case that's 35 years old, this is sort of expected, but there's like almost nothing at all on this case. And where you could make the assumption, and maybe you're right, that someone's trying to cover it up, and they almost succeeded, the thing is, they didn't. And that kind of makes sense. When you can have a story like this, even if the news aren't going to be covering it, you're still going to have media outlets constantly poking at it, which is actually a good thing, because otherwise there's a pretty solid chance that by now nobody would be talking about it, and there'd be no opportunity for these boys to see any justice. See, that's kind of the good thing what the media did. They kind of opened the door. Every couple of years this story gets covered, and they point out all the things that happen, and some of the people writing these articles and these videos on YouTube and everything, they don't even try to make assumptions, because let's be honest, at some point the people perpetrating these crimes, especially against the witnesses, they didn't even try to cover it up. It's almost like they knew they would never get caught. I mean, one of them was literally found in their living room with their head cut off. Like, why would you do that? You think that that wouldn't get him ID'd? I mean, he was in his living room. Of course they're going to be able to ID him. Why would you cut his head off? Unless you thought that you would never get caught for it. And technically they haven't. but with the media constantly covering this story, there's still a chance that they might, hopefully, someday be. See, these media sources covering the crimes kind of just highlighted that, the mistrust we as citizens can have on our government and the authorities, and how this mistrust has been earned through countless cases of the government clear yet uncontested involvement in these crimes. Take killing 6 of the witnesses on a case and not elaborating on it ever. But by highlighting not only the absurdity of this case and also keeping it alive, the media, in a sense, is holding the government accountable, which is a good thing, considering virtually none of the people involved were ever really held accountable. So where some people think that they can get away with killing 8 witnesses, technically including the boys, and, not really ever getting faced for it, the media, or more importantly, the public, can hold some of them accountable. And, I think that that's where the story is just a phenomenal example of people in power thinking that they can get away with things, and people in the public holding them accountable. Well, that's it. I think it's really kind of crazy that they were able to keep it alive for so long, but then again, it also kind of makes sense considering it's a crazy story. Yeah, I don't know how to end this video, so I'm just gonna end it with saying that if you're going to cover up something, maybe don't kill all your witnesses like it's in a Saw film, because that's obviously going to get somebody interested in the case. Have a good night.